Most content creators are stuck in what I call the hamster wheel of manual posting. They are creating, they are formatting, and they are posting, and they're repeating the same process over and over again, burning over 20 hours a week just on content distribution alone. Meanwhile, there are smart creators who have figured out a different way and a smarter way of doing things. They built an AI system in make.com that takes their core ideas and then repurposes the content into various social media platforms, turning a single core idea into high volume platform optimized output for Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, all while maximizing their exact tone and personality. And the result, they're scaling their content efforts without adding manpower, maintaining a consistent content flow that actually increases their reach, and their engagement rates are going up because they're not rushing through posts anymore. But not only that, now they're dealing with way less stress. Now, the crazy thing about this whole thing is that while most creators are copying and pasting the same exact content and posting it on multiple platforms, other smart creators are using AI agents that are writing the content for them, mimicking their same style, their same tone of voice, and then posting it on those various social media platforms. No robotic fluff, no generic posts, just their authentic voice being multiplied across multiple platforms. Think of it like having a personal assistant who knows exactly how you write, what words you use, and how you structure your thoughts. But instead of just taking dictation, this assistant can take one of your ideas and adapt it perfectly for each platform. And I'm going to show you how to build this exact system step by step using make.com. This system handles everything from analyzing your writing style to then writing the post for you, to then either storing it in a database, whether that's on Notion or Airtable, or you could just automatically post it on multiple social media platforms at that moment. But before I even get to it, I want to go over briefly on why the way that you're going about writing content or the systems that you're currently using and you haven't changed at all is actually working against you. Most creators think that they need to be everywhere all at once, which is why they try to post on multiple platforms at the same time using the same post, just different format. But they're actually trapped in what I call the manual multiplication nightmare. You have to understand that this trap that you're in is killing your growth more than the algorithm or whatever other excuse you have come up with on why you're not growing. Here's how the typical creator usually goes about posting on multiple platforms. You create one piece of content and then spend hours reformatting for Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You're literally just taking the same core idea and post and then manually reshaping it in 5 different ways. Meanwhile, 49% of marketers are already using AI for text-based social media content and 47% of them for video and audio social media. Manual content creation is quickly becoming obsolete, but most creators are still stuck on administrative busy work, which is disguised as content creation or content strategy. The brutal reality is that you're spending about 80% of your time on busy work and 20% of it on high impact creative stuff that actually moves the needle. You know, the high level strategy, the breakthrough insights, the content that actually builds your brand. While you're copy and pasting your competitors or like other creators who are, posting way more than you are doing things differently. The bottleneck is not really a lack of ideas or a lack of creativity, especially now with AI being out there. There's basically, it's kind of close to impossible at this point to not be filled with ideas. It's really the mechanical process of turning one core idea into multiple platform content pieces. The smart creators basically realize that they need to become content governors and not content slaves. They understand that scale comes from systems and not from grinding more and more harder. But building the right system requires you knowing exactly how to build the right AI agent that can do that work for you so that you can focus more on high impact creativity tasks that are actually going to move the needle. And so that's why I'm going to show you how to build this system in make.com. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so this is going to be the system that we're going to be building. This is going to be the exact system. It's not like humongous. Like sometimes you see systems, especially nowadays, you see systems that are like, a bunch of modules and like, 50 or 30 modules. And sometimes it's just like the simple systems that can actually get the job done. Yeah, there's some systems that require, a bunch of modules, but for systems like these that I'm about to show you, I wanted to make it as simple as possible so that you can follow along and not get confused, so that you can get the basic core idea of how to build this whole thing so that it can actually work. The way it's going to work is that we're going to have a Google Doc. Like in this case, I have this Google Doc right here, which is going to have like a bunch of posts. And in this case, what I did is, since I'm going to show you like an example of how to basically have AI, mimic your tone of voice, your style, the topics that you talk about, the content that you write about, and then write its own post based on that style that you use. What I did here is I basically grabbed like a bunch of posts, and the way that I'm going to show you this, I'm basically using like Alex Hormozy as an example. So like, let's say Alex Hormozy wanted to create a system that can write short form content for him so that he could focus more on other, tasks that are much more high impact, I grab like a bunch of Alex Hormozi posts that he uses, and I basically put in like 20 posts in here. You can put in a bunch. I built other databases basically where I put in like 50 content posts, that way I can feed AI like a bunch of examples of content posts that I should actually use. But in this case, since I don't want to make it too, you know, large, I just gave it like 20 posts that I grabbed from Alex Hormozi, which are one of the best ones that he's written. Obviously, Alex Hormozi writes a ton of good short form posts, but I just grabbed like 20 of them just to give you an example. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be grabbing this Google Doc right here, and then we're going to be feeding it to AI. We're going to use OpenAI for the analysis. This module right here is going to be in charge of analyzing the writing style, the frameworks that are being used in the post, the patterns, the tone of voice, the topics that are being covered. And then from there, we're going to feed that to Claude. I use Claude when it comes to writing content. I just like how it writes content better. You could use OpenAI, but in this example, we're going to be using Claude because that's what I use. And Claude is basically going to grab that analysis, and then it's going to follow it to write posts that are, it's not going to be similar to these posts, but it's going to follow the style, the frameworks, and it's going to write posts based on the topics that are being covered. And so from there, we're going to then use a JSON. So the way that I structured this is basically we're going to be outputting, we're going to tell it to generate 14 posts for us. We can tell it to generate 20 or like 50 posts if we wanted to, but we're going to generate 14 posts, and it's going to generate it in this format, which is JSON format. Each post is going to be basically an individual post. So post 1, post 2, post 3, and we're going to be using the JSON parse JSON module. Basically what this does is that this parses each JSON object, and then it's going to basically allow me to store it in a database on its own in Notion. In this case, it's going to analyze Alex Hormozi's style, frameworks that he uses, persuasion techniques that he uses, the topics that he covers mostly. And so it's going to basically write posts in that topic, in that niche, basically, because that's the topics that are being covered in these short posts that we feed it. And so that's what the system basically that we're going to be building right here. And I'm also going to, be using the prompts. I already created the prompts, because when it comes to writing these prompts, it takes a bit of time because you have to, write the prompt and then test it. Maybe there's something that's wrong with the prompt. You got to test it. So I did all the work for you so that you don't have to go through, me writing the entire prompt, and it's going to take a lot of time, and I don't want you to, get bored and stuff. So yeah, so let's just get right into it. Obviously, you should have a make.com account. Okay, so the first module that we're going to be using is Google Docs, and we're going to use the get content of a document. This basically grabs the content in the document. And then what we're going to be doing is we're not going to do mapping. We're going to do mapping. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to put the document ID so that it could grab the content from that document ID. So the way that you do this is just go to your Google Doc, and then you're going to grab this ID here. This is basically the ID of the Google Doc. Every Google Doc has an ID, and you can see it in the URL. So it's going to be between this D right here and in between this edit. So you're going to copy that, and then you're going to basically put that Google Doc ID right there, and then you're going to hit save, and we can actually test it. Actually, one of the recommendations, I actually talked about this before, when you're building these type of systems or any type of system, is really good. It's really helpful if you test each module before you move on to the next, because one of the things that you don't want to do is build out the whole system and then you test it and then it like fails, and now you have to go back and fix the whole thing, and it's gonna basically be it's gonna be a time waster basically. So just make sure that you test it right here. All you do is run module, and obviously, as you can see right here, it ran the module and it actually grabbed the doc right here because I gave it the Google Doc ID. Obviously, the title of the Google Doc is short form database example, and right here, look, it's title short form database example, and so this is the content used right here. So as you can see, it grabbed the entire thing. And so from there, we're going to go to OpenAI, and then we're going to put generate a completion. This is basically going to, use AI to digest the document and then create its own response. We're going to be using the module, the model. We're going to be using 4.1. So just go to right here and just go to 4.1 system. And then we're going to write the message. So I have the prompt ready. So all I'm going to do is just paste the prompt. So we're going to be putting system. This is going to give it the role. So we feed it the role right there. This is going to be the role. You're a highly skilled content analysis specialist with expertise in deconstructing and rating content. So we're going to go and we're going to put the user. The user is going to be the prompt, the task, basically. That's going to be the task that you're going to give it. I'm going to talk about another one in a separate one. I'm going to make a separate video basically talking about prompting and how to get better at prompting. Okay, so I fed it the task. As you can see right here, it says analyze the provided Google document containing short form posts and extract key elements using the step-by-step process. So it's going to carefully read the whole content. It's going to identify and organize the overall tone of voice. It's going to analyze the structural patterns. It's going to determine the frameworks that are being used. It's gonna, document the distinctive writing styles, and then it's gonna also, capture the main topics, the themes, the subject matters that are being covered. So like if the posts that you put right here are like about entrepreneurship, it's gonna grab that. It's gonna say, oh yeah, these posts are being written. These posts that are written are basically talking about entrepreneurship. So that when it writes the content for you, it's gonna write about entrepreneurship type, content. It's not gonna, write about other things that are not related to what you talk about, what your brand talks about, right? It's going to generate like an analysis that we will then feed to Claude. The last thing we got to do is just feed it examples. So we're going to be using user again, and then from here we're going to feed it examples. So I got right here an example where I'm going to basically, we're going to act as if we gave it a document containing 45 posts about digital marketing trends, written in a conversational tone with bullet points and stuff like that. And then we're going to add another message, and then from here we're going to use assistant. This is going to be so the way that this works is that whenever you provide examples, when you do user again, so the first user that you use is going to be you prompting AI. So this is going to be like the task, any notes that you want to give AI. But then the next time that you use user is going to be like whenever you're giving examples. So this right here is going to act as if you're giving AI a document about something. And then when you use an assistant, that's going to be AI's, that's going to be like AI's response to you. So if we give it a document containing 45 posts about digital marketing trends, we got to give an example how we would like AI to respond back, or what output we would like it to give us. And so I already generated one right here. So this is going to be an output that I would like it to generate for me. So right here we fed it. So it's going to give me the engagement elements, it's going to give me the topics covered, it's going to give me the writing styles, the frameworks used, it's going to give me the post structures, all that, the tone of voice. That's what I want the AI to give me, right? This is where giving it examples, when it comes to prompting AI, giving it examples is so crucial, because if you don't give AI examples, now there are some cases where you don't need to give it examples, but in most cases it's really helpful to give it examples, because that way you can tell it, okay, I want you to respond in this type of format, in this way, so that it doesn't make any mistakes, or at least it lessens the mistakes that it makes. So that we're going to use another example. This is going to be example 2. We're going to use user again, and right here we're going to give it an example as if we gave it a document that contains 48 blog post introductions about personal finance, and it's written in an authoritative tone with metaphors and personal anecdotes, stuff like that. And then we're going to use assistant again. And there's going to be the response, obviously, that we would want AI to give us if we were to use that type of document. So right here, we're going to basically feed it this. It's going to be another. And then the last thing that we're going to be using is going to be user again. But this time we're going to be, we're not going to use the assistant after that. We're going to basically feed the document itself. So we're going to, give it the text content. So just give it the text content right here of the previous one. You're going to give it this text content. This is basically this. We're going to feed it all of this, right? So just give it that right there, just map it, and then that's it. You're going to close it. So that way, when it runs, it's going to intake the document itself, the content, and then it's going to provide you a response back. It's going to give you an output. So you're going to say that, let's just, up the maximum output key tokens, just to, make sure it doesn't, maybe it needs to output more. And yeah, we don't need anything like when it comes to temperature. We're good. Everything is good right here. And so there we go. So now we're gonna actually run it just to give it a test run, just to see how it does. So it's gonna grab the document, and then it's gonna feed it to AI, OpenAI in this case. And then what it's doing right now, it's digesting the content itself, and it's writing its analysis. So it's grabbing the tone of voice, it's grabbing the frameworks that are being used, it's grabbing the post structure that is used. So for instance, post structure is basically like how the post is structured. So like, look, this is a post structure, right? So there's line breaks. This is like a post structure. Listicles is a post structure. So like it will analyze all of that, and then it will basically write out a whole analysis, which we will then use to feed to Claude. Okay, so it gave me the analysis is ready. All you have to do is click right here on the one, and then you got to go to result, and then this is going to be here. So here we go. This is the whole analysis. As you can see, it wrote a very in-depth analysis, which is good, because then we will feed this to AI, which, the more detailed it can be, the better. That way the next module that we're going to be using, which is Claude, that way it knows exactly how you write all those type of things, so that it can write the content for you, right? And so as you can see, it grabbed a ton, as you can see, just from this simple post right here. So as you can see, it grabbed the tone of voice, it grabbed, general impression. These posts are concise, punchy, and loaded with insights on mindset, business, self-improvement, and finance. It grabbed the structural patterns, the length of the post, the paragraphs, line breaks, all that type of stuff, the intros. It grabbed, signature patterns, it grabs all that frameworks. So it grabs the frameworks that are being used. It grabs a ton, as you can see. So after that happens, we're going to be, creating another module, and this is going to be Claude. So we're going to be going to a thread with Claude, and we're going to use create a prompt. You could use OpenAI if you want. Maybe you don't have a Claude account, but I personally like using Claude. I just like the way it writes, and we're going to be using the new Claude Sonnet 4.5. And then max tokens, we're going to use, since it's going to be 14 posts and it's not going to be a lot based on this structure right here. As you can see, these posts are very short. That's basically the type of way that Alex Hormozi writes. We're just going to put like 3,000 max tokens. It's not going to go over it, but that's just something that I use. It's just like a max, so to make sure that it doesn't go over 3,000 max tokens. So we're going to be giving it a role. So the user, we're going to be using, as you can see right here, the user. In this case, it doesn't have a system, so we're going to be using we're going to be putting the role and the task all together in the user prompt. So right here, we're going to put text, and then I have the prompt ready. So all I have to do is just grab the entire prompt. So this is the prompt right here. So we're going to output in valid JSON format. I already explained what JSON is. And so this is going to be the role. You are a highly skilled content creation specialist with expertise in crafting authentic, engaging short form social media posts that resonate with specific audiences. You excel at adapting writing styles to match a brand's guidelines. Create 14 unique short form social media posts based on the provided style guide by following these steps. So it's going to analyze the style, the tone of voice is going to grab all of that, and then it's going to identify the topics being covered. So in this case, it's going to use the style, the analysis that it gave, the other OpenAI module is going to analyze the style, and it's going to grab the topics being covered, and then it's going to make sure that it writes the post in plain text. It's not going to use these HTML tags. I wanted to write in HTML format, basically like I wanted to use line breaks, but I don't want it to include these tags. You have to make sure that you let them know that, because if you do not know, let the AI know to not use these tags, it's going to write in HTML format, but it's going to include the tags, and we don't want that, right? In our post, we don't want that. And then we're going to review each post to ensure it avoids marketing cliches and AI giveaway phrases, right? We don't want it to sound AI, we don't want it to use, like at this point, when I've built these systems already to the point where I already know when something is written by AI. Like you get to this point when you start writing content for systems, you get to the point where you'll go on social media and you like instantly know, like, yeah, this was written by AI, or this was either created by someone. This was either written by AI, or if it's not, then someone actually wrote it, or they built a system and prompted it so good that AI was able to write it without sounding robotic, which is what we want, right? This is basically what we're doing right here. And then we're going to apply cognitive biases strategically only when they enhance the effectiveness of the post. So obviously, if you know cognitive biases, these are the persuasion tactics that writers use to basically hook you to actually read the entire post, right? It targets your emotions, stuff like that. And so yeah, this is basically the prompt right here. We're not going to give this examples too much, because we're just going to feed it the analysis, and then we just wanted to write the content itself. The only examples that we're going to feed it is just one example, and that's the way that we want the content to be formatted. So obviously we want it to be outputted in JSON, so we're going to give it an example of how we would expect the output to be generated. So we're going to be using text again in this case. So we're not going to be using this. We're going to be using add another message. Don't click on add content. We're going to click on add a message. We're going to use user again, and then we're going to put text right here, and then right here we're going to give it an example. So we're going to give it an example as if we gave it a style guide, which is basically what we're going to be giving it later on. So we're going to give it an example like a style guide right here, and then we're going to add another message right here. We're going to use assistant. This is going to be the output that we expect AI to give us. And so since we want it to be generated in JSON format, like in JSON object output, we're going to give it this example. So what I did right here basically is I gave it an example. So I gave it an example as if I gave it a style guide, and this is how I wanted to generate the output. I don't want it to generate me the post all together. I wanted to give it to me in JSON output so that each post can be separate. If I don't give it an example like this, it may sometimes not give it to me in JSON format, because like I said, AI is still not perfect, and so you need to give examples so that it can give you the output that you're looking for, or at least give it to you as best as you want it. And so what's going to happen next is that once I actually run this system and it gets to this part, it's going to give me the post, but it's going to write it like this. So it's going to be post 1, and then the post is going to be right here. Post 2, the post is going to be right here, etc. So we're going to save it. And we're actually going to give it so we're going to add another role. We're going to add another message, and this time we're going to give it a user, and this right here, we're going to actually feed it the style guide. So we're going to put, this is the style guide. So it's going to be right here. So we're just going to go right here. You're going to go to choices, message, and then content. So we're going to feed that right there. Boom, that closes it. We save it. And now we're going to test this right now, but we're just going to add the JSON. So just add parse JSON, and you're going to grab the right here where it says JSON string right here. What you're going to do is you're going to go to content on the Anthropic Claude one, and you're going to go to text. So this is going to be the output of AI, and we're going to, obviously we want it to be in JSON. You're going to see right now exactly what this module does. So let's just save and let's just run it. So just to go over real quickly on what's happening right now. So the content is being grabbed. We're going to feed that to AI. AI is going to analyze the entire structure, the frameworks, etc. And then it's going to feed that to Claude, which is going to then write the post, the actual post, but it's going to generate the whole output in JSON format. And then it's going to feed it to this JSON, the parse JSON, which is basically going to separate each post. Okay, so now we're going to check the results. It gave us the output, which is this. This is the output of the AI. As you can see, I'll put it just like exactly as I wanted it. Post 1, and then this is the post right here. Post 2, and this is the post right here. And then what it did is I then fed that to parse JSON right here. And what it did is it basically separated each one. So you see right here, post 1, it separated it. Post 2, post 3. So this is basically what it did. So there's two things that you could do after this, right? So you can either automatically post it into your social medias. So you can like use something like Buffer. So Buffer is basically like a app that is like a platform that basically allows you to post on multiple platforms, like schedule your posts. So you can post on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, all those type of social medias, and you can basically schedule your posts for each account that you have. If you only have one account, which is your personal brand account, then you would basically post on one account for each social media. And if you do have a Buffer account, which a lot of people do have a Buffer account, all you gotta do is create a status update, and then from there you're gonna just basically create like 14 buffers. Basically, you're gonna create like 14 buffers. So what you're gonna do is you're basically gonna give it flow control, and you're gonna use router, and then you're just gonna use buffer right here. So since it generated 14 posts, you're basically just going to create a status update and just put the content right here. So post 1, and then you're going to put, like, if you want it to be posted immediately, which I'm pretty sure you don't since you have these posts scheduled. So you're going to just basically put it at the end of the queue. And then once you do that, it's basically going to post this. It's going to schedule this post to be scheduled to end up eventually posting on your social media. Whenever you do add an update to the end of the queue, this is basically going to put it at the last place. So if you already have content scheduled in your buffer, what this is going to do is that this is basically going to put this post right here last place. So it's going to be like, for instance, if you already have content scheduled for tomorrow, it's going to schedule this for the next day, after tomorrow. But if you want it to be posted at the top of the queue, this is basically going to be put at priority. So like, let's say you have a post scheduled for tomorrow at 2 p.m. and you run this system, this post right here is going to take that place. It's going to take that spot. So it's going to be posted tomorrow at 2 p.m. instead. And the other post is going to be pushed back. So most people use add at the end of the queue. So that's basically what you will use. But that's if you want the post to be automatically scheduled for social media. The way that I like to do it is that I personally like to review the content. I always like to review it just to make sure before it actually gets posted. So what we will do here is that you would just put it in a Notion database, or whichever database. You could use Airtable. I've used Airtable, but I'm just going to use Notion just for this simple example because most people have a Notion account already. Not everyone has an Airtable account, so I'm just going to use Notion, but the concept remains the same. So you're going to use Notion, and you're going to create a database item. So once you put this create a database item, you're going to go to your Notion and you're going to create this page right here. So you're going to create a new page, and then you're going to name this short form content machine example. And then you're going to name this content database example. And then you're also going to make sure that's connected to make. So in order for that to happen, just go down here in your, just click on this right here, and then just go to connections and then just connect it to make. As you can see, I already have mine connected, but in your case, you're just going to put add connection and you're going to connect it to your make account. And then once that happens, you're going to go back to make.com and then you're going to put search. So you're going to put select from the list and then you're going to put search right here and you're going to put okay. And then it's going to show up right here. So as we see right here, content database example. So we're going to click on that. And then we're going to basically like what we're going to name it. So we're just going to name it like content machine post for the week of, and then let's just put like, so we're actually going to use like the time right here. So we're going to put format date and then we're going to put now. So now, and then we're going to format it. This is how you format dates in make.com. So we're basically going to format it in like month, day, and year. So it's going to say October, like whatever date it is. So like the 20th and then 2025. That's how it's going to be formatted. And then after that, we're going to put save. And then, oh wait, there's something missing. No, there's nothing. And then from there, we're going to go to Notion again. We're going to create a new module and then we're going to put append to a database item content. Append means add to add to a database item. So that from there, the database ID is going to be right here, database item ID. We're going to click on that. And then content objects, we're going to put a paragraph. And then we're going to put text. And then right here is going to be basically where we're going to put all of the content in right here. Now I'm just gonna go real quickly to this because I already have it formatted. So so I don't waste time, I'm basically just gonna grab this entire thing just to show you how it's done. So just grab it right here. Oh wait, not that. Wait, I didn't even press copy. So we're gonna go down here and just press Command A, copy. Well, I'm doing that, obviously not you guys. And then we're gonna put paste. So this is basically it right here. We're gonna change this. This is going to be content. Oh yeah, it's going to be content 10. Post 10. Yeah. So we're going to put save. And then from there, that's basically it right there. So once that's all done, I'm just going to align it. And so this is basically the simple system right here. This is just a simple system. I've created more advanced ones, but this is just a simple system just to show you how this system works. We're going to click save. And then from there, we're going to run the whole thing. I'm going to show you exactly what happens. Okay, so as you can see, everything is completed. So this is going to be the output. So obviously, as you can see right here, the content machine post for the week of the 10th and 11th, 2025. So this is the actual post right here. Look at these. Everything is formatted exactly how I wanted it. So this is the post that it wrote. The best advice I ever got: stop asking for permission. No one's going to validate your idea before you prove it works. Build it, test it, fix it, then watch everybody pretend they believed in you from the start. You don't need more information, you need more repetition. Most people fail because they jump to the next thing before mastering the last thing. Stick with it longer than it feels comfortable. Most people quit right before the compounding kicks in. They see the first 100 days of linear results and assume it's broken. Stick around for day 101. That's when it gets interesting. So as you can see, it writes the post right here. These rules I follow. If it scares me and excites me, I do it. If it just scares me, I think about it. If it just excites me, I'm probably missing something. Everyone wants the results. No one wants the boring middle part where nothing visible happens, but everything important is being built. The boring middle, that's where you actually win. So, these are the type of posts that Alex Hormozi would usually write, like entrepreneurship, business, being patient, all those type of things. So that's exactly what this system did right here. So now the way that you're going to be using the system is that instead of you creating a Google Doc, like in this case, I created a Google Doc, filling it with Alex Hormozi post, but obviously you're not going to do that. You're not going to create a Google Doc and feed it a bunch of posts that are written by another creator, obviously, because your brand is unique. You have your own brand, you have your own tone of voice. Your audience already knows how you write or how you sound, like your content. And so you're not going to do, you're not going to fill in this Google Doc right here with posts from another creator. What you're going to be doing instead is you're going to put post right here in this Google Doc. You're going to create a Google Doc and you're going to put posts that you have written, content that you have produced already, that you have generated yourself. That way, when you actually run the system, AI is going to write content and it's going to mimic your tone of voice, your style, because that's exactly the content that you gave it. If you give it someone else's content, like if you feed it, like if you just put here a bunch of content that was written by another creator, it's gonna write content and mimic the style of that creator. But the problem is that when you actually post it on social media, it's not gonna sound like you. Like, your audience already knows how you sound, it already knows your tone of voice. And so if you wanted to mimic your own tone of voice and style, you gotta feed it content that you have already written, like your top performing content, like the best content that you've written, or the content that you actually wrote and you were like, damn, I actually like that type of format that I used. And so once you actually fill in this the Google Doc right here with a bunch of your content, I actually put 20 right here, obviously because I wanted to use this as an example. But I've also created Google Docs where I fed it like 50 posts or like 60 posts. And so you can feed it as many posts as you want. Obviously don't overdo it, right? Like, don't feed it 300 posts, right? Obviously, like, you could just feed it like 100 if you want, or 70 posts. It's more than enough. Like, that's enough to give to AI can easily figure out the style, the tone of voice, etc. So you're gonna feed it the post right here. You're gonna put it like post 20, you're gonna put your post right here, then you're gonna put post 21, you're gonna put the post right there again. And then after that, when you run this system, AI is going to grab the content that you post right here, which is your content that you have written, and it's basically going to mimic your whole tone of voice, your style. It's going to cover the topics that you write about, and then it's going to write content in that niche that you actually write about. So if you write about, affiliate marketing, if you write posts about that, it's going to analyze your post and it's going to see that the topics that you cover are affiliate marketing, and then it's going to write posts in that niche, affiliate marketing. If you someone who writes content about content creation itself, you're gonna, it's gonna analyze the topics and it's gonna say, oh yeah, this is about content creation. And so then it's gonna write content in that niche, content creation. As you can see, obviously, if you noticed, it analyzed this post right here, and it noticed that the topics that are being covered, or the topics that this creator writes about, which is in this case, as an example, is Alex Hormozi, it's about business, it's about entrepreneurship. And as you can see in the examples that I showed you in the output that it gave, it wrote about, the content that it wrote about is in the business entrepreneurship niche, the self-improvement niche as well, because that's the topic that Alex Hormozi actually talks about as well. And so that is how you build a system that writes content just like you, that uses AI to write content just like you, so that you can focus on other high-performing creative tasks, like actually planning out the content, etc. And you don't have to write the short form post yourself, which can take you a bit of time every single day. There's people out there that spend like an hour or two every day writing short form posts so that they could post on like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and all those type of things. And this system right here can literally save you those 1 to 2 hours, which is like over 14 hours a week, or sometimes even 20 hours a week. Some people like really spend like 3 hours every day writing short form posts, and you can literally save all that time and use that time to focus on other high performing tasks. Meanwhile, this system right here can do all the work for you. It can store it in a database. That way, all you have to do is analyze, just go to the database itself and then just review it. You can set this up to it can run weekly. So you can set it up to run weekly, on every Sunday, and then from there it will literally run the system every Sunday. And every Sunday you're gonna have a database in your Notion, or whichever you use. You might use Airtable, but in this case we use Notion. Every week you're gonna notice that there's gonna be new content being generated for you, and you're gonna have a bunch of content that you can just post on multiple platforms, and it saves you a bunch of time. When you're manually creating content, you're lucky if you even post once a day on maybe 2 platforms, because by that time you're already exhausted. You start strong on Monday, maybe you hit 3 platforms on Tuesday, you might even skip Wednesday because life happens, and by the time it's Friday, you're just writing content that just pops up in your mind just to fill in the void. And the algorithm notices this inconsistency, and it just recommends your content fewer to people. But when your AI agent is handling all of the heavy lifting, you can subtly post on multiple platforms and remain a consistent presence on social media with high quality posts every single day. Your AI agent doesn't get tired, doesn't have bad days, and it doesn't skip posts. But us humans, we do get tired, we do have bad days, and we do sometimes skip posts because we feel overwhelmed. AI is able to maintain your posting schedule regardless of whether you have a bad day, whether there's personal drama in your life, or whether you're just tired. And then the algorithm interprets this as professional reliability. It interprets this as you being consistent, which will enable the algorithm to push your content more to people. By using this system, you're gonna finally be able to maintain the quality that your audience expects, while at the same time being able to give the volume that social media requires, so that the algorithm can actually recommend your post to a lot of more people. You'll go from being reactive to proactive, from scattered to systematic, and from exhausted to energized. Creators who use AI to create systems like this are going to have a massive advantage compared to others who are still stuck in the manual posting hamster wheel. They're going to be able to build audiences faster and maintain better engagement with their audience. Creators or just people in general who are looking to build a personal brand or just looking to promote their business using social media, the real difference is that they are becoming content governors and not content slaves. They build systems that handles the grunt work while they focus on strategy and creativity. At the end of the day, you have to understand that manual content creation doesn't scale. At one point, you're going to get tired and you're not going to be able to produce a bunch of content in a single day. You're going to hit a ceiling where more effort doesn't equal more results. But when you automate the mechanical stuff, you're going to be able to focus on what actually matters, which is building your business and your brand. The key is to find the right balance. The balance between leveraging AI for efficiency while strictly preserving human creativity and authenticity to avoid flooding platforms with low value repetitive material. Now, if you want me to build something like this or something similar like this for you, for your business, for your brand, then click the link below and book a call with me so that we can speak more on how you can use or leverage AI for content or social media strategy in general, or just business in general, entrepreneurship in general, because those who are using AI right now for their business, for their brand, are literally getting miles ahead of those who are avoiding it. But AI is not only about leverage to automate content creation or automate business processes. You can also use it to help you improve your life 10 times faster. That's why I made this video right here where I showed you how you can use AI to improve your life 10 times faster than anyone. Click it and go watch it. I really do think it can help you out. But anyways, that's all I gotta say. I'm out.